Welcome back to our prison series. This is episode 63. Today we are going to talk about 15 of the worst prisons in America. So we're going to get into the article that I'm seeing online that gets into great detail. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like the video and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so they're saying that prisons are designed to house those that are convicted of crimes, providing controlled environments where individuals can serve out their sentences. However, not all prisons are created equal people. Some have garnered notorious reputations for their harsh conditions and poor treatment of inmates and high levels of violence. So if any of you out there are watching and you used to be in prison, let us all know. What was your experience like? And, would you go back or are you going to be going back? That's good stuff for us to know. So these facilities, they're often criticized for their lack of rehabilitation, the programs and the inadequate health care and overcrowding and the psychological and physical abuse suffered by these prisoners as well. And in the United States, where the prison system is under constant scrutiny, certain institutions stand out for their particular grim environments. And this is Mr. Fox joining us today. We just love him so much. He was in the last episode of our prison series too. This article explores 15 of the worst prisons in America, the one that I'm about to get into. So, some of these facilities are super max facilities to state penitentiaries, and they're basically some of the harshest places to be incarcerated in the U.S. for those of you out there who are worrying. So, one of the prisons is called ADX Florence, and it's located in Colorado and is often referred to as the Alcatraz of the Rockies. So it's designed to house the most dangerous and high-profile criminals, including terrorists, spies, and mob bosses. So inmates at ADX Florence experience extreme levels of isolation, for those of you out there wondering. So they do spend 23 hours a day in a small soundproof cell made of concrete with limited human interactions. They have to make it soundproof because the prisoners must, want to yell because they're so mad, I'm in here. So that was probably when they decided to soundproof things. Oh dear. The prison's strict regimen includes constant surveillance and minimal contact with the outside world, leading to severe psychological issues such as depression and anxiety and hallucinations among these inmates. So just imagine if you're in this prison, you just are so sad because you have no one to talk to. You're just alone with your own thoughts. So the lack of rehabilitation programs and educational opportunities further exacerbates their mental health conditions. And the solitary confinement conditions at ADX Florence is so harsh that they have been compared to torture by human rights organizations. The combination of isolation and minimal natural light and limited recreational activities makes ADX Florence one of the worst prisons in America, people. The next correctional facility we're going to talk about is called Attica, located in New York. Is famous for its brutal history and harsh conditions. This prison opened in 1931. Attica has housed some of the state's most dangerous criminals. Maybe that's where Diddy should go, since he's already in New York. It gained notoriety in 1971 when inmates staged a massive uprising to protest their inhuman living conditions, including overcrowding, inadequate medical care, and poor sanitation. Look, Mr. Fox is very comfortable. So they said that that protest ended violently with a state-led assault resulting in the death of 43 people, including inmates and prison staff. So that didn't go so well, people. So they said the legacy of the 1971 riot has cast a long shadow over Attica, and reports of violence, abuse, and mistreatment continue to emerge. Okay, inmates frequently complain about the excessive use of force by guards, poor health care, and the lack of rehabilitation programs. The prison is known for its high levels of violence among inmates and between inmate staff. Okay, so our next facility, it is located in Altmore, Alabama, and it's notorious for its harsh conditions and high level of violence, and it's called Hallman Correctional Facility. And again, it's in Alabama. So this facility, it opened in 1969. Hallman houses maximum security inmates, including those on death row. Who knew? The facility has faced severe overcrowding with more prisoners than it was originally designed to hold, leading to crammed and unsanitary living conditions. So Hallman, it has a reputation for frequent inmate-on-inmate violence, and as well as violence between inmates and correctional officers, people. So that's not the prison you want to serve in or work in. So the prison has been plagued by riots, stabbings, murders, creating a constant state of tension, people, and fear among the incarcerated population. Reports of brutal treatment by guards and inadequate medical care further contribute to the dire situation of Hallman. I wonder why that prison is like that. It's so sad. So that's the one you don't want to go to, people. Maybe that last prison, the one in New York, Attica, New York, would probably be better. So reports of brutal treatment by guards and inadequate medical care further contribute to the dire situation of Hallman. The infrastructure of Hallman Correctional Facility is also in a state of disrepair. Aging buildings, failing security system, and insufficient staff exacerbate the already dangerous environment. Efforts to reform the facility have been slow and largely ineffective, and many inmates continue to suffer under the harsh conditions. So, our next prison on the list, it is located in Idaho. So, this is, okay, the city is Kuna. And this prison is called Idaho Maximum Security Institution. It's known for its severe conditions and strict security measures, people. And it's designed to house the most violent and disruptive inmates. And this facility is where solitary confinement and lockdowns are very common. So the inmates spend most of their time in their cells, and they have limited opportunities for social interactions, recreational or rehabilitation programs. The prison has faced criticism for its harsh treatment of inmates. Are we surprised? No. And inadequate mental health care. The extensive use of solitary confinement has been linked to significant psychological distress, including depression, anxiety, and suicidal tendencies among these inmates. The lack of mental health resources exacerbates these issues, leading to a cycle of deteriorating mental health and behavioral problems. The violence is another significant concern at this Idaho prison. There have been numerous reports of inmates on inmate violence, as well as allegation of excessive force by the correctional officers. Again, we are not surprised. Overcrowding further compounds these issues, creating a tense, volatile environment. Also, now would be a good time to like the video and to subscribe. Don't forget to check out my previous prison series that I have created just for you. And also, don't forget to check out my deaf series, people. And let me know, are you enjoying the prison series? Are you enjoying my deaf series? Let me know that too. Our next prison on the list, it is located in the state of Louisiana. It's called Louisiana State Penitentiary, also known as Angola. It's infamous for its harsh conditions and brutal history. This is the one we really want to know about. It's located in a remote part of Louisiana. Angola is the largest maximum security prison in the United States. It's covering 8,000 acres, people. Originally a plantation, its legacy of forced labor continues as inmates work on the prison farm under the supervision of armed guards. Okay, Angola is notorious for its high levels of violence and poor living conditions, people. Inmates often face overcrowding, inadequate medical care, and unsanitary facility. So this prison has a history of human rights abuse, including excessive use of solitary confinement and reports of physical and XX abuse by both inmates and staff. Oh no, you can't even get the staffs to do you right. So sad. The prison's remote location farther isolates inmates, limiting access to legal representation and family visits. The majority of Angola's population is serving life sentences without parole, creating a hopeless environment with little opportunity for rehabilitation or redemption. In addition to its internal issues, Angola has faced scrutiny for its exploitive, I don't even know what they mean there. So look, inmates are required to work long hours and grueling conditions for little to no pay, which critics liken to modern day slavery. So these factors combine to make Louisiana State Penitentiary one of the worst prisons in America. And for those of you out there watching, which prison do you feel like is the worst on this list or the worst in the world? We want to know. So far, the one that just did it for me has to be that prison in Alabama. Let's go back to that prison. That prison sounded horrible. Let's go back to it. Okay, so that prison, it was called, wait a minute, nope. I'm getting these prisons mixed up. I'm trying to see, so no, not the Florence. I'm trying to find, oh yeah, it's called Hallman Correctional Facility, located in Altmore, Alabama. That was the one that it sounded so bad, and the reason it sounded bad is because that prison, they said it has riots, it has stabbings, it has murders. It's a constant state of tension, okay? And it's like inmate to inmate violence. And between also the correctional officers have a reputation for being bad here too. That seemed like it was just something, they didn't even have enough staff to help deal with these issues, which is creating more problems. So now we're going to get to our next prison, and it's located in New Orleans. It's called Orleans Parish Prison, OPP. Located in New Orleans, it has a notorious reputation for violence, neglect, and poor living conditions. It houses pretrial detainees and convicted murderers. Often in overcrowding and unsanitary conditions, OPP has been criticized for its high levels of inmate violence, with frequent reports of assault and facilities among inmates. The facility has faced numerous lawsuits, alleged civil rights violations, and inadequate medical and mental health care. Have any of you guys out there visited any of these prisons? Because they all sound crazy to me. So inmates often experience delayed, insufficient treatment, leading to severe health complications and in some cases even death. The lack of proper mental health resources exacerbates the suffering of those with mental illnesses. OPP is also known for its staff misconduct and corruption. I believe it. I've had to deal with some of the police in NOLA, and I will say they like to reverse stories on you. Not exactly the best police department in the U.S. So, it says reports of excessive force, abuse, and neglect by guards are common, contributing to a culture of fear and instability within the prison. Additionally, poor training and oversight of staff have led to numerous incidents of misconduct. The prison's infrastructure is another insignificant issue, with aging buildings that are prone to flooding and structural failures. The facility's location is in a flood-prone area, which has led to dangerous conditions during natural disasters, such as Hurricane Katrina, when inmates were left stranded without adequate food, water, and medical care. So that's what we have to tell you about that part, people. Our next prison is located in California, and in the city of Crescent City, California, is called Pelican Bay. wow, people, I just want to say that these prisons, they're so terrible. They're terrible. Like when we go through the list, they all have something about them that just make you want to help these people, because even though these people committed crimes, some of them, they could be in these prisons and they are absolutely innocent. It does happen, people. And there's sometimes some racial issues in the courtroom that they just get harsh time and they don't deserve it. Okay, so the prison's called Pelican Bay State Prison. It's located again in Crescent City, California. It's infamous for its harsh conditions and use of solitary confinement. So, it houses some of California's most dangerous inmates, including gang leaders and violent offenders. The prison's security housing unit is particularly notorious. Inmates in the SHU spend up to 23 hours a day in small windowless cells, often with no human contact. The extensive use of solitary confinement at Pelican Bay has drawn significant criticism from human rights organizations. Prolonged isolation has been linked to severe psychological effects, including anxiety, depression, and hallucinations. Many inmates suffer from deteriorating mental health due to the lack of social interaction and stimulation. Violence is another major issue at Pelican Bay. I mean, who wouldn't be mad? If you're locked up for 23 hours a day, won't you be mad too and want to hit the wall? I'm trying to say, like, these prisoners have to be mad on the inside. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm trying to say that these conditions put you under so much grueling stress that you just want to just be, I'm trying to say, you're just mad at the world, where someone looks at you wrong or says something wrong. Now you're a troublemaker. You turn into a troublemaker because of these people. So the prison has a long history of inmate-on-inmate violence, often linked to gang activity. Despite effort to curb gang influence, violence remains a pervasive problem, contributing to the facility's reputation and brutality. Additionally, the prison's remote location makes it difficult for inmates to maintain contact with their families and legal representation, further isolating them. Isn't that sad? The next prison on our list is Penitentiary of New Mexico. Okay, so this is located near Santa Fe and is notorious for its history of extreme violence and harsh conditions. I'm sorry, people. So it's one of the most infamous events in the prison history. In 1980s, they had a riot which was considered one of the deadliest prison riots in U.S. history, and during the brutal uprising, inmates took control of the prison, resulting in 33 numerous injuries, and the riots exposed significant flaws in the prison management. So, there's issues with the living condition and the security, and they have a high security unit where inmates experience severe isolation, spending most of their time, again, in solitary confinement, which we pretty much knew that. The prolonged isolation has been criticized for its detrimental effects on inmates' mental health, leading to depression, anxiety, and psychological issues. So this facility has been plagued by reports of staff misconduct and abuse. We're not surprised. Inmates frequently complain about excessive use of force by the guards and neglect and inadequate medical care. Overcrowding further exacerbates these issues, creating an intense and dangerous environment. Additionally, the lack of rehabilitation programs and educational opportunities at PNM limits inmates' chance for personal development and successful reintegration into society. Okay, it's all crazy, right, y'all? The next prison on our list is Red Onion State Prison, and it's located in Wise County, Virginia, and it's infamous for its severe isolation practices and harsh living conditions. Okay, so this institution, it mostly houses highly dangerous and disruptive inmates. It's a super max prison. So the facility is notorious for its extensive use of solitary confinement, and where inmates are kept in their cell for about 23 hours a day with minimal human contact. This is an extreme isolation, often leads to severe, again, psychological issues. This prison is having the same issues of harassment, physical abuse, neglect by the staff. Inmates are just constantly complaining. And yeah, I guess it's in a remote location in the Appalachian Mountains, which adds to the inmate's sense of isolation, making it difficult for family and legal representation again. So, it's very sad, yeah, but this is one of the worst prisons in America, people. So try not to be shocked when you're hearing all this stuff. But they did do something to end up there. Okay, so our next prison is San Quentin State Prison, located in Marion County, California. Is one of the oldest and most infamous prisons in the United States. So it was established in 1852. It houses California's only death row for male inmates, making it home to some of the state's most notorious criminals. Despite its location, it's overlooking the San Francisco Bay. San Quentin has a dark history of marked by overcrowding, violence, and inadequate living conditions. So, it's often holding more inmates than its intended capacity. What are they doing? Just stuffing them in there? I'm trying to understand like how you hold more inmates than you're supposed to. Because what it's saying too is it says their living quarters are crammed. Increased tension and higher risk of violence are among these inmates. And it says this facility has a long history of inmate-on-inmate violence, gang activity, riots contributing to its dangerous reputation. So, it's saying that's been a major concern for these inmates at San Quentin. So, it says these inmates frequently report delayed or inadequate medical treatment, which has led to several high-profile cases of preventable deaths. Okay, so our next prison is in Milton, Florida. It's called Santa Rosa Correctional Institution, and it's known for its high levels of violence and harsh living conditions. This facility houses a mix of maximum security inmates, including those considered highly dangerous and problematic. So it says the prison has a reputation for frequent inmate-on-inmate violence, which has led to numerous injuries and facilities over the year. Okay, so look, people. Another prison you do not want to end up at. So, again, they said that there's a lot of abuse, mistreatment from the staff, neglect, the same thing as the other prisons. It says that if you're here and you get hurt, there's going to be a delay in receiving medical care. That's what it says. And let's see. Overcrowding again. So another issue leading to the deterioration of you and your mental health. Okay, so we have a prison on the list that is located in Beaumont, Texas. And it's called United States Penitentiary, Beaumont. That's what they called it. It's known for its high levels of violence and severe living conditions. As a high-security federal prison, it houses some of the most dangerous inmates in the federal system, people. And the facility has earned a reputation and brutal inmate-on-inmate violence, including assaults, stabbings, and murders. The prison's environment is characterized by significant gang activity and racial tensions, which contribute to the pervasive violence. The dangerous atmosphere is exacerbated by allegations of excessive use of force and mistreatment by correctional officers. I want to cut in. If you are a person getting mistreated by regular people and cops, and you're not even in prison, imagine being in prison. Imagine being in prison. Now they feel like you're entitled to be mistreated. If you see what I'm saying, it's crazy. So again, this facility reports abuse, neglect, harsh disciplinary measures are common. People, yeah, they don't like it here. It's overcrowded, cramped living conditions. The facility is deteriorating. It's unhealthy and unsafe for the inmates. Okay, so the next prison on our list is located in Innes, Kentucky. It's called United States Penitentiary Big Sandy. Wow. It's a high security federal prison. It houses some of the most dangerous and violent offenders. So the prison has a well-documented history of inmates on inmate violence, including frequent stabbings, assaults, murders, and creating an atmosphere of constant danger and fear. Gang activity and racial tension significantly contribute to the pervasive violence at USP Big Sandy. It says the presence of powerful gangs exacerbates conflict and creates volatile environment. Yeah, so Big Sandy is another area of concern. Inmates often face significant delays, again, in receiving medical treatment. It sounds like they don't care. And that a lot of the same issues is going on in all of these prisons. So the next prison on our list, it is called United States Penitentiary Hazleton, located in West Virginia. And again, it's notorious for its violence and harsh conditions. It's nicknamed Misery Mountain. The prison has a reputation for frequent inmate on inmate violence. Okay, again, I'm not surprised. Including stabbings, assaults, and leading to numerous injuries and deaths. Okay, so it says lots of gang activity is prevalent. Okay, I'm not surprised. Wow. It says lots of force is being used in this prison, excessive use of force. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Again, I'm trying to see if it's anything else. Yeah, nothing new. Next on our list, this prison's located in Louisiana. It's called United States Penitentiary Pollock. Okay, so it says, again, it's another notorious and harsh, violent prison. The facility has been well documented and has a history of severe inmate on inmate violence, stabbings, murders, assaults, and creating persistent, dangerous environment. It's a high security federal prison. It houses some of the most dangerous criminals in the prison system. Okay, people report neglect by staff, physical abuse, mistreatment, volatile atmosphere, insufficient health care, abusive staff, make it one of the worst prisons in America. So, the moral of the story, people, is stay out of prison. If you have to go, hopefully you get to choose. And those are some of the worst prisons in America. And again, these prisons, they're intended to house convicted criminals, but conditions vary widely. And some of American prisons have gained infamy for their harsh conditions, extreme violence, and poor treatment of inmates. Okay, and the facilities like ADX, Florence, Attica, and Louisiana State Penitentiary exhibit severe isolation, gang violence, and inadequate health care. So these issues highlight systematic problems such as overcrowding and staff misconduct, but the notorious reputation of these 15 prisons underscored the urgent need for reform. But ensuring that you don't end up there, you won't have to go through all this stuff, people, because it sounds like a lot to go through, right? But I want to thank you for staying with me just to hear the 15 most worst prisons in the world. Please like, share, and I will see you on the next one.